too.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for everything that you've done for Trek. You've brought it back. You've brought it back to us. You've given us fresh new Trek. You've given us looks back. What can we expect going forward? Is there going to be a spin-off from Disco, another spin-off from Disco?
There's definitely a lot in the pipeline for what comes next. I think that part of what we're trying to do is not just repeat the things that we've done. Like in the way that I look at this is I keep saying it's sort of like different color crayons in the same box, right? Every crayon is a different color. It should be different. It should be a different prospect, but you recognize the box and they all come from the same box, right? So my feeling is that we always have to have a particular reason to do a show. It can't just be to do more Star Trek. It has to be because there's a unique story to be told. And I love the opportunity to tell different kinds of stories in the world of Star Trek because, really from its inception, it's given its creators, anybody who ever writes for it or works on it, there's so many different ways to tell stories in the franchise. And that's really, really exciting. So again, I want it to be recognizable as Star Trek, and I think there are certain things you can't violate if you're doing that, but I want every show to have its own unique identity.
And I think you've really succeeded in that. That's really wonderful. And the other thing that we love so much about what you're putting out there is the representation that you're putting out for everybody. Yeah. You guys are really making it count in some really important ways. So it's important to us to say thank you.
Well,
get the opportunity.
It's important to us that it reaches people because obviously we're just following in the footsteps of what happened on TOS, but I think it's more important now than ever.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We originally met you way back at Shore Leave in 2019.
Okay, cool.
But we're huge fans of yours. We're so delighted, to see the continued evolution of Spock and what you continue to do with them. We think one of the things that we love so much about you is you have this incredible comedic gift. You have this great comedic timing.
Thanks.
Yeah, we think that's hilarious. You do you bring all this wonderful comedy to this role, which is so lovely. Are we going to see more comedic elements from you and Spock?
I hope so. I mean, I think the writers do an amazing job of putting Spock in humorful situations, strange situations that he then has to adjust to and figure out for himself. And that's really funny, when you see someone like fish out of water that's normally highly competent, highly intelligent, knows what they're doing, is in control, and then to put him someplace where he's out of whack and out of control is really wonderful and fun. So I think we do that quite a lot,
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are so wonderful, and we just wanted to tell you how much we adore you.
Oh, thanks.
And thank you for doing so much justice to this character who was really, for us, how we learned about Idic. He is the important man. Spock is the one who teaches us that philosophy. And to the SyFy Sistas, Idic is everything. It means everything to us and everything about representation. So thank you for being the prince of that.
Oh my gosh, well, I'm honored, and I hope I live up to expectations. At least for some.
You exceed them every day.
Oh, thank you so
Never
much.
fear. We got your back.
Really appreciate that. Yeah.
Discovery premiere in New York City.
Yeah.
And you look a little like you didn't know. You was astonished at the people and everything.
Yeah.
I think you've grown into your ears. What do you think?
Oh, thanks. I don't know. It's an ongoing process. Every day I face new challenges on set with the material we're given, and I just have to show up ready. And tackling the unknown becomes a little easier over time. So I've got time on my side at this point, and maybe a little more maturity. So.
Well, we see it. We love the work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Enjoy yourself.
Hi. I'm so good. It's so good to see you all. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. I got one. It's so good to see you. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gorgeous.
This
is amazing.
This whole thing, just a little run to the post office look.
Just a thing.
Just something to go grab a cup of sugar, a stick of butter.
My do-rag.
Yes. I almost wore it on the carpet. I was like, you know what? Next time. We'll slowly bring the culture every day.
Girl, we have now seen advanced screeners, and all we got to do is say, Madam. You're doing the thing, girl. You're doing the thing. We love her. We love her, and we love what you're doing. I love you speaking out so fiercely about the hair.
Yeah, because I mean, like, my thing is, this is now the time. I am so ready to be a part of representation of just women, Black women, showing up as we are, and not feeling a need to adorn and conform and all that wild stuff. No, none of it.
Thank you so much for being that voice. There's so many out there who don't have it like that. You don't have the gumption or the support to be that free.
And that's the thing. I have the support, and so now that I have the support, I know I can do whatever I want.
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Sabrina will be so mad with me if I don't ask this question.
Let's go. What's up, Sabrina?
Ask her the question.
The question that I had was about whether you like being on the series better, or did you like the immediate gratification that you got on Broadway?
Oh goodness, I love immediate gratification. I am of my generation, but I think I like this more because the thing about a TV show is that it is forever, and so I will always have an opportunity for my family and for future generations to look back and say, this is what she did, and I don't have to like bootleg it on YouTube. No, it'll be on Paramount Plus forever, and I will have an opportunity to look back and memorialize this moment. So I love the instant gratification of Broadway, but the permanence of serialized television is something that I am so incredibly grateful for.
Girl, we love you. We're so glad you're on our serial television.
And I'm so glad to be here for y'all, because y'all, listen, this is for us.
Look, it is for us, and we can't wait. We got to get you on the show.
I can't wait. Listen,
long conversation.
A long overdue conversation about what's about coming, because there's even season 2, there's a whole bunch of stuff coming that I cannot wait for y'all to see, but we'll talk about it when we get to talk about it.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about.
Of course. I love you all so much. Thank you. It means the moon to me to have y'all here.
Just keep stepping into that power, sis.
I have nothing but support to do so.
That's
So
right.
I hope to do y'all justice.
Love you. Enjoy yourself.
I will.
Hi. Welcome, beautiful woman. We are so excited to meet you.
You too! Look at you guys, you look amazing.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on the show. We've seen a few episodes. This is a huge deal for us, like just for not only for representation, but what it means to play the descendant of this role, and like how we feel like we have to live up or live down our ancestors. Are you thinking about that at all?
Do you know what? It's funny you say that, because I'm working on a project at the moment, a personal project, which is all about my ancestry. And it's really interesting because I never before really, I delved into my dad's story. My dad is Chinese, my mum's English, but I delved into my dad's story a little bit as a kid, but not much beyond knowing that he was from China and, you know, and things like that. But I'm suddenly really realizing how special it is to be a part of the Chinese community, and how the responsibility that I want to take on now of, like, I guess it's educating the world on what it is to be Chinese, what it is to be an immigrant, more importantly, right? And to not fit in a world where everyone doesn't necessarily look like you, or, you know, have your same values, you know. So for me, to be having this platform and also be working on it in my personal life, like the importance of that, you know, really like living it up, for sure, living up my ancestry, really showing and being proud of that, you know. And I think La'an is, you know, she is very similar to Khan in the way, you know, she has natural abilities for war combat. She's, you know, very tactical, and she has this steely exterior, but I think, you know, she does carry those things through him, but she's going to live down the other side of him. And, you know, like she's got a good heart and is out there to, you know, save her family who, the Enterprise crew. So, yeah.
Well, we love what we've seen thus far.
How much have you seen? I haven't seen anything.
We got some screeners. Some of us have seen more than others. One of us has only seen 1 or 2 episodes.
You've seen 4. Okay, yeah.
I've seen 3. I love, even in those early, I love the evolution of her character right away. Right away we start to see her grow. And it's a beautiful, and you are playing the hell out of her, baby. I just gotta tell you, like, the kick-assedness is there, the depth is there. We love her.
Oh, thank you so much.
We're really delighted that you're part of the Trek family.
Me too.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping to talk to us. Thank you. I'm Tamia from the SyFy Sistas. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. Thank you for all the work that you've done. We are huge fans of yours from The Magicians. The Magicians was such a cool show. You guys had a lot of really great discussions on that show. Like, there was things about class and race and all sorts of cool things that you guys were doing on The Magicians. Yeah.
I'm so glad you liked it.
Oh, yeah.
We really tried hard not to shy away from the tough stuff on that show, because it was sort of like, why are you telling genre stories if not to tell stories about the world? You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That's what fairy tales are for.
It totally made us feel like that, when we were watching it. It's like, this is why I've been reading and loving science fiction and fantasy for my entire life.
100%.
It's
100%.
Right. So, what type of magic are you trying to sprinkle on to Strange New Worlds? What do you have planned for us? Is there anything that you're going to bring over from The Magicians, or?
Well, I mean, the one thing I feel like that's very similar is we had a spirit on The Magicians of kind of going for broke. You know what I mean? Like, we in the writers' room are all fans. We're fans of the genre. We've seen every version of every story. So if we're doing a monster movie,
right,
like, we want to break the traditions of the monster movie, or we want to use those traditions or use those tropes, or maybe comment on them. Like, we're trying to do like an iconic version of it, which is, I know it's like setting a high bar, and but that's really that was how we would come about it, because you want to, if you're going to do I'm trying to think without revealing too much. If you're going to do like an adventure romp story, like, you want it to be the one that you want to have a character that people are going to be like, well, I want to see them come back because they were awesome.
Right?
I mean?
Yeah.
You really want to kind of go for it, which I know sounds trite, but like, that was sort of how we approached it. Was really trying to push it. And that was something that we definitely brought from The Magicians.
I love that, and I think that's what a lot of us are looking for in our new Trek, because classic Trek never held back.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's about. I mean, it was about social issues, but it was also about character, and it was also fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the other thing that I would say that we really try hard to do, is inject a sense of fun into it, because we love the show, and part of that is about like the interaction of these people. We also bring a lot of humor into the show. You know what I mean? Which is something I definitely brought from The Magicians, because one of the things I learned working on that show was you don't. Just because something is funny doesn't mean that it can't deal with serious issues. Life is funny.
Right.
It's also serious, but it doesn't mean that just because it's funny doesn't mean that you can't take a left turn. I mean, everyone laughs at things. People want to laugh. Human beings laugh. That's sort of how they interact.
And I think that's so needed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was honestly like, it was one of the great joys and surprises of the show. Was, I came onto it like March 2020, which was like right after the pandemic started, right after, and to live in this sort of throwback, hopeful world, where we were using science fiction to remind people of like what you want the world to be. I mean, in addition to showing things that are difficult and challenging, and dealing with some of the more challenging aspects of the world, but like the people on the ship are a family, and they have hope, and they find hope through Starfleet, and to have that kind of optimism. I mean, the whole time we kept thinking like, I can't wait for people to finally see this, because I feel like this is what people need. I mean, it got me through it. You know what I mean?
We have to admit that we saw the first ones, and we're in love.
Aww.
We're absolutely in love. You guys have done an amazing job. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
I hope you enjoy how we end the season.
Thank you. I know we will. Hi. We're the SyFy Sistas, and we are huge fans of yours.
Oh, thank you.
So delighted that taking on the mantle, our dear sister Yvette's favorite character.
Oh, awesome.
And one of our favorite characters. We loved you in The Magicians. And
Librarians.
I'm Magicians. Close. I was thinking about, I meant The Librarians because it's one of my favorite shows ever. And we loved you as Eve. And what do you find out that you have to, is there anything that Eve and Una have in common?
They're both like second in command, like they're both kind of first officers, and they're both hardworking, slightly intimidating.
Thank you so much for stopping to
meet
talk
you.
to us. Okay, take care now. Bye-bye. I am Tamia with the SyFy Sistas. How are you today? It's really wonderful to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on part of this and part of this universe.
Thank you. We are just lucky enough to be here. So.
Well, so are we right now. And we just want to know, what might be your plans for the future of Star Trek universe? What can you drop for us about where we might be going next?
Well, I think that Star Trek has a very large future ahead of it, of course. I think that the great thing about Star Trek is it's always evolving and representing, the current status of our culture and our society. And with that, it can always be around in different incarnations. I also think it's something that, like a poem can always be interpreted in different ways by different people. So it always feels relevant. And I think that we'll continue to broaden our spectrum of perhaps media and the things we're going to do with Star Trek when it comes to the different available ways to get it out to the world. But all in all, we just continue to try and make great Star Trek for people who love it and people who appreciate everything we put into it. And that seems to be, evergreen for us. So.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We look forward to how you're gonna keep Gene's vision going.
We look forward to it too, and we're lucky to do so.
Thank you.
I'm doing great.
I'm Tamia, and we are the SyFy Sistas.
Fantastic.
We are such big fans of yours. Welcome to the series. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We've seen a few of the episodes.
Fantastic.
Oh, she is so kick-ass.
Yes.
She is so badass.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
We saw your interview. You were talking about getting tutelage on learning how to pilot a starship. Right?
Yes.
Who did you go to learn how to fly the ship? Girl?
Sure. So first I went to Google. I went back to my chair. I went off the bridge and back to my chair, and I was like, because I didn't want to tell anybody because nobody seemed to think this was like a really. And I was just like, I feel like this is a really important part of what I'm doing. And I'm not really like a method actor so much. I think for the first time with Star Trek, I feel very method. So I was like Googling how do you fly a starship? And then fortunately they started giving us, they had like a Zoom workshop with all of the cast members where we went over all of our stations, and I'm like taking notes. And then we had some incredible individuals, John Van Sitters, who's been part of Star Trek for a long time, Timothy Peel in graphics, who will totally let you know how often I texted and called. And I'd be on the bridge and something would be happening. I think the example I gave in that interview was evasive maneuvers, right? Evasive maneuvers, things are dicey, right? And so you need to be doing things, but nothing new would come up on my screen. And I would joke, I would say, what I would love is a touch screen that reacts. And everyone would joke, they'd be like, well, we don't have the money for that. And I'm like, right. I'm like, but I still want it. So having graphics, create these graphics that could just kind of come in, it gave me something to kind of to play with. And then I just feel that's all a part of what ends up playing on the screen, plays on my face, plays on the screen, and then it resonates for the fans. And so for me, that was just really important. And I kept feeling like I was that actor occasionally where a new director, all our directors are wonderful and different every episode, but sometimes a director would come on and they'd be like, how about you look into this, or you press this, or you press, and I'm like, but that wouldn't do that. But they're trying to get my angle over here in order. So there's a certain balance between we're shooting a show, and I'm like, but it's Star Trek. I have a great story. If you want a quick story, when we're shooting phasers, and there's I don't want to give away too much because I know you guys have seen episodes, but not everybody else is. But we're shooting phasers and it's a serious situation on the ship, and they hand me my phaser and they're blue or red, and I understood from the props person that red was kill, and so the situation we're going through is very serious. So I go to red and we're do, and then
we cut, and the props person comes over to me. They're like, they want you to go to blue. And I went through this whole thing where I'm like, but we've just been attacked. We don't know who we've been attacked by. Like, you know, the fate of the Enterprise lies in what happens in the next moment. I don't know what's happening. And then he just looks at me, he shrugs, and he's like, it's a family show. And I'm like, got it. All right, blue. So I'm like, whatever. So sometimes I just have to, I realize I get very excited and I get very into my character. And then other times I'm like, these poor people we're all just trying to make a show. At the end of the day, let's make it happen.
You know what you sound like? A fan.
Yes.
You just sound like just like us.
And I've been hearing that from people that like they feel like I'm like them, and I keep saying like I would like to think that what you see in Ortegas is what makes Star Trek so wonderful and why fans love it, you know. And it's just she has that same enthusiasm for Starfleet, and she has that same enthusiasm for her crew members. She absolutely adores Captain Pike. She wouldn't let him know it because it's all like super professional, but like she really adores him and all of her crewmates, and I adore my castmates. That's the cool thing too. Everyone, you're gonna fall in love with them on the show, and all of them individually are just as cool. Like they're all wonderful people.
I gotta tell you, like just from this moment tonight, being able to talk to people, there has not been one superficial conversation out here on the show. Everybody is genuinely excited to be involved in it.
Absolutely.
We are genuinely excited that you are on the cast because, I mean, look at it. You're
That
talking
makes
to
me so
four
happy.
black women. Baby, representation is every damn thing.
Yes.
It's every damn thing.
And also, I cannot wait. I love you guys' haircuts. I love your hair too, but short hair, I'm always like a big fan of.
That's right.
And I think so many people are like saying how much they love this hair, and I'm like, this is like the hair I was born to have. Like this is like.
It looks like you've been rocking it forever.
People ask me, they're like, did you audition with this? And I'm like, no, I auditioned with like a pixie cut. You know, that kind of like fits. It can fit into all certainly as a working actor, like you ought to be able to fit as many things as possible. But I've always been like, I want to fit what I fit, and then the right role will come along, and then here we are. And then when producers and our hair department like gave me options, I was like, you know what, go big or go home. I feel too it works because Ortegas is like combat veteran. She's very like, it's serious, but it's also lax, and also no hair to get in the way when you're flying the ship.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm very practical.
That. And we have a veteran in our group right there.
Oh yay! Awesome! I love that.
And she's digging on your performance of her
Fantastic.
too. Like,
Thank you so much. That really means the world. Thank you. I've played a number of soldiers, and I even did an industrial years ago for the military where we were on an actual army base, and people thought I had served. And they were asking me, and I felt like such an imposter. I was like, no. I was like, I am not as wonderful as all the actual soldiers on the base. But there's just something about, so I own it. I'm like, and I learned from you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for doing honor to that.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for stopping to talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we really look forward to the rest of the season.
Yes, I
and
can't wait for you guys to see it.
And we hope we get to be on our show sometime soon.
Absolutely. Yes, let's do it. We can talk forever. Yeah, absolutely. And I can just talk forever, like unless you stop me.
That's great because so can we.
Yeah. Okay.
So that
Fantastic.
works.
So we could just like have like lunch.
Yeah.
Lunch and drinks.
All right. Thank you, sis.
So much.
How are you, Jess? It's so
great.
lovely. We are the SyFy Sistas.
Amazing. Good to meet you.
And that's lovely to meet you too. Welcome to the Trek family. Welcome to Nurse Chapel.
Yeah,
right? Like stepping into this iconic role that you are. It seems like from what we've seen, you have brought a lot of spirit to this character. Was that when you first looked at her role, what did you identify that you said, I need to bring this out in her?
Yeah, great question. I watched all of Major's performance, and I think what I distilled from that was kind of her candor and her wit and her humor, she's like, she's no bullshit.
Yeah, right.
And I think from that was the seed, and then I wanted to kind of reverse engineer her and see like, who is the younger woman that exists under her? And there was also this great license to elaborate on in 2021, like who is that woman now? Being able to like flesh her out and kind of give her a rebirth as well. It was so much fun, and a great opportunity to collaborate with Akiva and Henry, the showrunners, and they gave me a little license to explore, which was really cool.
I think it's fantastic. Like we've all seen a few of the episodes, and we've seen that humor in her. We've seen that sort of like really independent independent
Yeah.
wit
Yeah.
and go get go getter. Like you know, I feel like I feel like what you're doing with her is a nurse chapel for our time. I feel like we can relate to this woman.
Cool.
You know,
It's so great to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, I think especially like when I she's like me when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, that's what I really feel like. You know, do you know where you want her to go? Like how she that you can drop and like anything like without giving away spoilers?
Yeah. Look, I think that she has this exterior that's brave and independent that she's developed as a means of protecting something much more vulnerable on the inside, as a lot of us do. So I think what I want for her is to kind of marry those two parts of herself and find safety in being vulnerable sometimes as well. You know, like kind of integrating those different parts of herself and being more open and that kind of thing, yeah.
I think that's really a beautiful and profound message for everybody right now.
Yeah.
You know, because there is strength in that vulnerability. And once we
Absolutely.
let those guards down,
Absolutely.
you know, then we find that we have the support that we need.
Totally. Yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping to talk to us, and welcome to the Trek family.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy. Oh, you've already seen it, haven't you?
Oh yeah, but I'm about to enjoy it all over again. Thank you.
Great. Have a good night.
You too. We're here thanks to you, my dear. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Glad you made it.
This has been phenomenal. This has been so good for us.
Oh, great. It hasn't even started.
I know, but it's so much fun. Come on, who gets to do this? Like, we don't normally get to do this. This is so much fun. Thank
Good,
you
I'm
so
glad.
much.
I'm glad you're here.
You know, we're delighted to be here. We got one question for you.
Sure.
Okay, because you're an OG Trekkie, right? So, when you were a kid and you were watching Trek, you had that one creature or one space alien that was your favorite as a kid. Who do you want to run into on Strange New Worlds?
Oh, man. Gosh. I just keep thinking of the ultimate Trek moment for me is in the middle of Arena. Shatner, double axe handle to the back of the Gorn's neck.
Do you want Pike to fight a Gorn?
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
I'd love to find a way to remake the Arena.
Okay, producers, you hear that? We need Pike to fight a Gorn. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
pleasure.
Congrats on your new baby.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
And your life has changed a lot since then, right?
What's that?
Your life has changed a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
The last time we saw each other, you kissed me.
She is never going to let us live that down.
Somebody get that?
There goes the kissing.
I don't need a kiss. I would love to talk to you.
So you've blown away so much in all this time. Did you ever think that this would happen? So we were here in January of
Speak up, we can't hear you,
We were
girl.
here in 19. Well, not here, but we,
Right.
Is this all that you would
That was
imagine?
when? January 19?
19.
Yeah, no, we hadn't discussed it at that point. No. Yeah.
This is wonderful. And I'm so glad for you.
Thanks. But we realized recently, Alex and I were talking today, he called me in March of that year. So it is literally just over 3 years since we first started talking about
you by
this.
phone the other day. I'm Ian.
Yeah, so it's good to be here.
I don't want to
Thank you, SyFy Sistas.